Hey there, Jen here on this bright and sunny Saturday morning. I'm unfortunately coming to you with more news on the E Jean Carroll story, where a longtime columnist for Elle magazine and notable writer, E Jean Carroll has accused Donald Trump of rape in the 90s. She's come forward now because she was fearful before, according to her statements. And rightfully so. A lot of women feel a lot of fear when they come forward or don't with rape accusations because of powerful men, and the fear of repercussions, the fear of what someone like a Donald Trump could do to you, your reputation, everything. But she felt like she had to come forward. She is coming out with a new book that details the allegations against Donald Trump, as well as allegations against others like Les Moonves and I believe Roger Ailes as well. But you'll see in her book and in her interview or book excerpt in New York Magazine, she details a lot of different bad experiences with men. Obviously the most notable being with Donald Trump. He is now our president. And I think it's best said in her words. So let's go ahead and listen to her description of the rape. And trigger warning, if this is going to trigger you due to your own experiences or will be difficult for you to listen to, please skip this part or skip this whole video. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Chris Hayes. He played an excerpt of E Jean Carroll being interviewed on his show, which is actually notable because a lot of media did not cover this last night. It's a rape allegation against the President of the United States. Another rape allegation. It's not like it's the first one. By E Jean Carroll's count, she's now the 16th woman who's come forward with sexual assault allegations. By other counts, it's over 20 women. So however you're counting it, it's absurd that Donald Trump has not been held to account. And that's something we'll talk about as well. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Chris Hayes.
Carroll spoke with Nightly News correspondent Ann Thompson.
I had a run-in with the president in a dressing room in Bergdorf's. I fought. It was shocking. It was against my will. And the minute he closed the door, boom. He threw me up against the wall and tried to kiss me. It was so shocking to me.
President Trump released a statement reading in part, quote, "I've never met this person in my life. She is trying to sell a book. That should indicate her motivation. It never happened." Point of fact, here's a photo of them together meeting. It is in the New York Magazine story that he is referencing. It shows Trump and Carroll and their spouses at a party in 1987. Earlier today, a senior White House official offered New York Magazine a statement calling the account, quote, "completely false and unrealistic." Although one has to note, unrealistic is an interesting choice of words, considering the behavior described in the story is remarkably similar to what Trump himself has bragged about. And as noted by Carroll, Trump has also denied accusations of sexual misconduct by 15 other women.
And there you have it, as well as that infamous video where he says he can do anything he wants to women. He can grab them by the blank. That video was obviously famous on the campaign trail last time around. It didn't matter. It seems like with this president, nothing matters with his base. And even among people who are not his base, they just brush it aside or get outraged for a day and let it go. But nothing ever happens to this man. Let's go ahead and take a look at Trump's statement against E Jean Carroll. And your stomach will turn because this statement is absolutely disgusting against a woman who has come forward with what appear to be valid accusations of rape. Trump says, regarding this story, in quotes, by E Jean Carroll, claiming she once encountered me at Bergdorf Goodman 23 years ago, I've never met this person in my life. She is trying to sell a new book. That should indicate her motivation. It should be sold in the fiction section. Shame on those who make up false stories of assault to try to get publicity for themselves, or sell a book, or carry out a political agenda, like Julie Swetnick, who falsely accused Justice Brett Kavanaugh. It's just as bad for people to believe it, particularly when there is zero evidence. Worse still for a dying publication to try to prop itself up by peddling fake news. It's an epidemic. Ms. Carroll and New York Magazine, no pictures, no surveillance, no video, no reports, no sales attendants around. I would like to thank Bergdorf Goodman for confirming they have no video footage of any such incident because it never happened. False accusations diminish the severity of real assault. All should condemn false accusations and any actual assault in the strongest possible terms. If anyone has information that the Democratic Party is working with Ms. Carroll or New York Magazine, please notify us as soon as possible. The world should know what's really going on. It is a disgrace and people should pay dearly for such false accusations. So there you have the statement of President Donald J. Trump. And he's coming out full force against E Jean Carroll, saying that this is a work of fiction, that she's just trying to sell books. And he's even trying to get people to send in tips that E Jean Carroll or New York Magazine are working with the Democratic Party to try to take him down. So this paranoid president obviously is not going to admit what he allegedly has done. He's just going to attack E Jean Carroll and any woman who comes forward. And people ask, well, why did it take her so long to come forward? You know, this is 20 some odd years later. Why did it take so long? Why wouldn't a woman go to the police right away? Why wouldn't a woman come out with her accusation right away? Well, you can see right here one of the reasons why. A statement like this from President Trump is a scary thing. Trump's base is a scary thing. It takes a lot of courage for a woman to come out and say what happened to her in general, but to come out against President Trump and his MAGA fans, I can't imagine how E Jean Carroll must be feeling, the fear she's facing right now, but she was courageous in coming forward with the accusation. As for Donald Trump saying that he's never met this woman, well, I have something that will prove otherwise, and it was actually in the New York Magazine story itself. So, I don't know, how much attention did you pay to this, Mr. Trump? There you have it. Trump said he's never met this woman. Well, it would appear otherwise, because here we have a picture. I believe someone marked it as being from '86. I can't confirm that, but I believe it is from before the alleged sexual assault happened. But here is Donald Trump with E Jean Carroll. Next to him, next to Trump to his right is Ivana, and next to E Jean Carroll was her then husband. And obviously, this is at a party, they're pictured together. Obviously, Trump has met E Jean Carroll. So if Trump is willing to lie about this, what else is he willing to lie about? I don't know, maybe having sexually assaulted and or raped several women. Dozens. Maybe not dozens. Depends on how you count it. Depends on how many women have yet to come forward. But tens of women. It's really a hard thing to report on because I've been a victim myself, and so has basically every woman that I know. So for Trump to come out and say he's never even met her, clearly he's met her. It's just disgusting on top of disgusting, this whole story. And what's worse is that it's all going to blow over. Nothing's going to change. Trump will get to do whatever Trump wants to do. His base will let him. Other people will let him. Chris Hayes made a really good point, and I'm going to try to pull this point up. 1 second here. I believe that I bookmarked it. Let me find it. Chris Hayes. Here we go. Chris Hayes made a very good point. That this really hasn't even made news. Apart from Chris Hayes covering it and Lawrence O'Donnell and a few others, it really didn't break the news meter, as you would think a rape allegation against the President of the United States would. Imagine if this were President Obama and someone came forward saying that they'd been raped by him. That never happened, but imagine if it did. It would be news top to bottom all day long for the next several days. But when it's Trump, we're either so numb to everything he does, or I don't know, maybe everyone's just gone crazy. But here's what Chris Hayes had to say. He said, "Call me crazy, but president accused of rape by well-known writer seems like the very definition of news. It's somewhat odd to me that it is not being covered in many places." And I have some issues with Chris Hayes, but kudos to him because it's true. It's absolutely true. It wasn't covered and isn't being covered in many places. That's why we here at Status Quo are covering it, and we will cover it, and as new news comes out, because it's important. Donald Trump cannot get away with this. Elizabeth Warren was also asked for her opinion on the matter. I actually navigated away from it, so let me reopen. Okay, one second here. She was asked about this in South Carolina yesterday, where a lot of the candidates were gathered. Let me open this up for you.
Investigating any of this? We know Donald Trump's character. And there was a story today about another woman accusing Donald Trump not just of sexual assault, but of rape. Do you think there's a role for Congress in investigating any of this? We know Donald Trump's character, and it's revealed every single day. There aren't any real surprises here, just the details. We have time for one more? There was a story today about another woman accusing Donald Trump not just of sexual assault, but of rape. Do you think there's a role for...
So there you have Elizabeth Warren's opinion. The next part is difficult for me because I actually disagree with E Jean Carroll's decision. She was asked by Lawrence O'Donnell whether she would press charges against Donald Trump. And my heart is saying, yes, girl, press charges. Do whatever you can to bring this man to justice. Someone has to do it. But then I have to take a step back. It's not my story. It didn't happen to me. I don't get to say. But I have to say that in this next clip that I'll play, I'm kind of puzzled by E Jean Carroll's answer. And we'll talk about that more after I show you the clip. But I am puzzled, and I'd be curious to know your thoughts as well on this, on her answer as to why she will not be pressing charges against Donald J. Trump. Here's the clip.
Would you consider bringing a rape charge against Donald Trump for this? Why not?
I would find it disrespectful to the women who are down on the border, who are being raped around the clock down there without any protection. They're young women. They've, tried to come into the country. They're, as you know, they're there by the thousands. The women have very little protection there. It would just be disrespectful if and mine was 3 minutes. I'm a mature woman. I can handle it. I can keep going. My life has gone on. I'm a happy woman. But for the women down there, and for the women, actually, around the world, in every culture this is going on, no matter high in society or low in society, it just seems disrespectful that I would bring it just doesn't make sense to me.
So there you have her saying why she will not press charges, and she said it's because there are thousands of women being raped at the border, thousands, who knows how many thousands and thousands and thousands of women being raped around the world, and she wouldn't feel right pressing charges in light of that. this is a tough one because I want to give my opinion, which is I think she should press charges, or maybe there's another reason why she's not going to press charges, and this is the reason she felt comfortable saying in public. I don't know. I don't understand I find it puzzling, her answer. Maybe that's not for me to say, but I said it. I find her answer very puzzling as to why she will not press charges. I have to think that there's another reason. I admire her sympathy and respect for those women who are being raped as we speak at the border and elsewhere. But it doesn't take away from her story. And again, maybe there's another reason. Now let's switch to why Donald Trump will never be held accountable. And this article that I'm going to read to you, I think, summarizes it in a very good way. The outrage that I feel, Alyssa Rosenberg wrote this in the Washington Post. It summarizes my thoughts as well. Trump will never be held accountable for his treatment of women, by Alyssa Rosenberg. I've been swallowing down the gorge rising in my throat since I read advice columnist E Jean Carroll's shattering account of violence she encountered at the hands of what she describes as hideous men, among them one who grew up to be the President of the United States, and who she says attacked her in a dressing room at the Bergdorf Goodman department store in Manhattan 25 years ago. It isn't so much that this is the first time I've read allegations by a woman against President Trump. After all, almost 24 women had accused him of sexual misconduct before Carroll's decision to come forward. Harry Hurt III, who wrote a biography of Trump, reported that Trump's first wife, Ivana, had alleged in a deposition in their divorce case that Trump raped her and pulled out a clump of her hair in an act of vengeance for a disappointing cosmetic procedure. She has subsequently said that the allegation was without merit. Trump has denied it and the allegations of the other women as well. Rather, it's that until the moment I read this excerpt from Carroll's new memoir, in which she says Trump attacked her on a shopping trip, a scenario that evokes the furniture shopping gambit Trump himself described using as a seduction technique in the infamous Access Hollywood tape. I'm not sure I acknowledge to myself what I believe to be true. Nothing will happen to hold Trump accountable for his alleged treatment of women, not during his presidency and not after. The reality distortion field that Trump emits, and boy is that a great line, the reality distortion field that Trump emits, fantastically worded, and that his most ardent supporters have embraced, provides him with a grant of immunity so powerful that it has come to seem irrevocable and impenetrable. Of course, I haven't wanted to say this out loud. The only possible response is despair. Perhaps it's strange that I should arrive at this conviction at a moment when so many other powerful men have finally been taken to task for their predatory impulses. Harvey Weinstein, John Lasseter, Les Moonves, and Roger Ailes were all dethroned from their entertainment empires. Bill Cosby is in prison. New charges have been brought against R. Kelly. Apparently, after centuries of disbelief, enough holdouts are finally able to accept that just about anyone is capable of monstrosity. But with every bad man who gets the jail sentence he deserves or loses a position of public trust to which he is manifestly unsuited, Trump's presence in the Oval Office puts the lie to the hopeful idea that we've arrived in a new era. Carroll, like plenty of other people, seems to hold on to the idea that there must be something, surely, that can eventually puncture Trump's reputation and the bond he's forged with many in his base. His admirers can't get enough of hearing that he's rich enough, lusty enough, and powerful enough to be sued by and to pay off every splashy porn star or Playboy playmate who comes forward. So I can't imagine how ecstatic the poor saps will be to hear their favorite walking phallus got it on with an old lady in the world's most prestigious department store, Carroll writes in one bitterly piquant sequence that gives the piece its power. The level of detail, and the fact that two friends she told about the encounter at the time confirm her memories of their conversations, makes Carroll's recollection horribly credible. But the moment I read this line in her story, I thought that Carroll had it wrong. Trump's most ardent supporters won't find this story horrifying because they won't believe it at all. If they do accept any part of it, they'll insist that the encounter was consensual, that Carroll was a pathetic 52-year-old woman throwing herself at a good-looking, slightly younger gazillionaire, that any contact Trump had with her was some sort of sexual philanthropy. This is what makes Trump different from the other powerful men who have fallen since Me Too became a global movement. He has convinced too many people to invest too deeply in him and to view him as the sole source of truth for him to be disgraced and banished. Kelly and Cosby had fans, of course. Weinstein was able to both protect himself and to gain access to his victims by being one of the few people in the entertainment industry who consistently helped create great roles for women. But none of them inspired mass support that borders on cultic. Even if he was never tried on criminal charges, and even though he remains firmly ensconced in the global elite, Bill Clinton, whose role as the standard-bearer of the Democratic Party for years, prevented a serious, nonpartisan hearing of the sexual misconduct allegations against him, was at least tried on impeachment hearings stemming from that alleged misconduct. Trump never will be, not in the Senate, not in any other venue. And as long as that's true, Trump's legacy will be proof that when you're a star, the world does let you do it. Even if women like E Jean Carroll fight back, even if millions of us read their stories and find them credible, you can do anything. That was wonderfully and sadly, horrifically, not horrifically written, but a horrifying read. Very well done opinion piece there. There's not much more to say right now. As more news comes out, I will be reporting it. I find this story important, and hardly anyone else is reporting on it. People are just ignoring it. You know, just another day, just another Trump accusation. He needs to be held to account. Believe women. The evidence is there. Her friends hold up her account of the story. No, there's no video evidence, but you wouldn't expect there to be from 25 years ago. But her, you know, her two journalist friends that she told at the time do confirm her story and that they were told back then. So, you know, believe women and support women. And E Jean Carroll needs our support right now. This has been Jen. Please like this video. It's a bad topic, but your likes get it seen by more people. And please consider becoming a member of Status Coup. You get great perks and behind-the-scenes content. We do behind-the-scenes video diaries and things like that. And you get to be part of a cool club, the Status Coup Member Club. So go to statuscoup.com/join and become a member. Alrighty, bye-bye.